Hello and welcome back. It's about to go down. We're going to be talking to everybody who feels skeptical about Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. We hear you. We hear you loud and clear. I mean, I hear you every day in my comments. And I have the one and the only Cloudychiptv with me. What's going on, buddy?
What up?
So, yeah, it's an interesting day today, Cloudy, because I just called you in and didn't tell you what the game plan was. I said, we're going to talk about Suicide Squad, and I said that we want to talk about the skepticism that is out there. And I've heard a lot of skepticism from you directly. We put out a video kind of exploring what the story is. It going to be any good, comparing it to Batman Arkham, which I say never compare anything to anything, but that's an unbelievable game. So, and it's from the same studio. And then we also talked about gameplay. One thing that I remember you saying, and you can touch on those two things very quickly before I go into what I think the core audience was going to really want to hear. But if you can get into what was your gameplay issues and worries that you told me the other day on the last video?
I think the biggest issue for me is repetitiveness. Of course, it was a beta. It's not the full game, and there were moments in that game within the beta where I was like, "Wow, this is amazing!" Like the Batman scene was amazing, right? And it had
we can talk about it. Spoilers to anybody that doesn't want to get story based stuff. It's not a lot. It's very early on, and you've seen it in the trailers a little bit, but we actually got to play it. And he's talking about a very cool segment where this is going to happen throughout the game, where you interacting with a boss fight or just interacting with a boss for the story. And we went through basically all of the Arkham storyline within a factory, like a museum, kind of replaying how everything went out. And there was a big reveal in there. I'm not going to spoil that, but maybe I will actually. But it was just a very nostalgic feeling. You had Batman, and we were basically fighting him. And Cloudy's expressing just same thing I feel, which is amazing moment in that situation. But keep going, Cloudy.
Yeah, so it was the Batman scene. Of course, they have a Flash scene. They're gonna have multiple scenes like that throughout the map in the world, and I think that's amazing, right? Because it brings so much value to the person, especially when you're seeing like Batman. All of a sudden, you never see him use a gun. You never see him go crazy. This guy lost it, and he was badass for sure. And then so I love that, right? So they just displayed a couple moments like that, whether it was the Flash or with Batman, and I thought it was well done, right? So now the repetitiveness portion comes into where it's like search and destroy, hold the point, doing certain things like that throughout the whole time. And we had a lot of that. And I'm hoping that it's not going to be overloaded with just things like that. I hope they can get a little bit more creative with it. As far as certain ways we can hold points and stuff like that. I'm hoping they can get to some type of a nice balance with that. So
okay,
like
so anyways,
we don't know. We have to play the full game in order to see.
But the reason I'm calling up Cloudy for this, and he's gonna be the advocate for you guys, as skeptical as he can be. If you can turn on your skepticism as I speak, Cloudy, and you can go back and forth in a second. But that's just one example of Cloudy's skepticism. The second one was story based, like how can they really pull us in with Suicide Squad compared to a Batman, or somebody that we really have like a single player type of thing. So which makes a lot of sense, and it's understandable to have all these concerns. I actually always have concerns with all this stuff, but I also have the mindset of like, let's see what they're cooking, right? I'm not worried about eating my mom's recipe when I go to a restaurant. I'm not worried about having the specific way I think it needs to be done. I kind of go in with an open mind. And so right now, my job, I'm going to take a couple minutes, Cloudy, to express to you guys what to expect with this game and kind of break it down into depth. Even though I have my own separate video about this, I do want to kind of go down the rabbit hole to a certain extent and get into it deep as I can. Okay. So, first things first, I'm going to showcase, which is the wrong image. I'm not going to showcase that. We want to showcase some of the most important thing to understand for anybody worried about gameplay. And it's unfortunate if you're not into this thing, but I'm going to show it to you guys anyways, which is the loot. This is a looter shooter. And that is the first thing I want to stress to everybody and anybody. This is a looter shooter. And I'm focusing on the loadouts here as far as your gear. There's 6 slots. And I know every single slot, I'm going to break it down very quickly. But the point is, think of this as a looter shooter first, and let's have the discussion about the gameplay. In the end of the day, you're playing a looter shooter. Your job in a looter shooter is to, of course, go through the story, all that stuff we're going to talk about in a minute. But the main premise is to grind and make the best build for your playstyle, getting the top tier gear throughout the game. So I'm going to showcase a lot of different gear, a lot of different sets. These clips are from various YouTubers like Shroud, who went to the live preview event that he was watching. So the 6 gear pairs, you have 2 firearms, a melee weapon, a grenade. You have the shield mod, the traversal mod, the neck bomb mod, and then the last one doesn't showcase here, but they already confirmed it. It's a lucky charm. All of these actually affect your gameplay. So for example, the traversal in this game, you do traversal attacks. There's an ability for a traversal attack. Let's say you're King Shark, you'll smash down and you do some specific thing. Well, you can have element damage or have something extra into it. As you can see, each of the mods, if we look deeper into them, will have certain things. For example, right here, we're looking at the shield. Next critical hit will deal 350 increased damage. Okay, so that's a crazy mod to have on your shield harvesting. And if you guys don't know what shield harvesting, we'll get into a little bit later. But the point is, if this is a looter shooter's dream, from what I've seen so far, the combinations and the play styles that you can create with this game is phenomenal. And I'm going to skip through a couple of different styles and you can look at what exactly each mod might have. For example, each enemy hit by a grenade drops either shield pickups or less potent damage buffs or ammo. So you're just putting this quick piece on for your grenade and you can be able to do something special. All right. And so as you can see right here, this is, let's say, somebody's full breakdown on what they can do, what they have, all their stats on critical hits. For example, as you can see on the top, this is when it talks about their critical hits. You got a 11.3. That's not a lot. I'm going to have mine's very high, but you can do some crazy builds and do some different things. And there's a lot of variety in weapons as well. And so the looter shooter is very important. And so now to break that down, to help you guys understand, for example, there's 6 different classes: common, uncommon, rare, rare, epic, legendary, infamy sets, and notorious. Right now we're looking at a notorious villain item, and what this is like the most powerful in the game. And so this is a specific play style, and it's going to have a lot of different stats, craziness, and it's going to have a bunch of different modifiers and abilities on it. For example, each enemy hit with this firearm receives black mass mark. Applying a black mass mark to 3 different enemies within 9 seconds causes all marked enemies to trigger a fury explosive that burns enemies nearby. So basically, you're going to be able to cause an AoE effect as you shoot enemies, 3 enemies, and you're good to go. And so this is just one weapon, a nice sniper. I would probably put this on Deadshot because he's like heavy duty, hard hitting, crit hit, sniping style player. But just very cool stuff when it comes to if you're a looter shooter and you want the top tier experience of like putting together your favorite play style, different weapons, what is the best weapon, all that good stuff, right? And I'm showcasing a lot of the loot. We're not going to get into this. I have a video about this already, but in the end of the day, it's very important to know that it is a looter. And so this is where I will argue against Cloudy, his own statement, which was that he wasn't sure of like what are they going to do with the system as far as like gameplay wise. And so Cloudy, here's my thing. I get you and I agree. It better not be the exact same mission over and over and over, and that can get repetitive and boring. Having the variety is important. Not just for the story, like we were talking about Batman mission, where you're literally facing off against Batman and going through, an area with him in the building, but like different types of missions. As we can see in this here, I mean, they showcase in this very video that I'm showcasing right now, one of the missions that we did, Cloudy, we were shooting off these torrents, and it was just like a beginner guide, tutorial-ish type of mission. And then there's other stuff, and I don't know if you saw the end game stuff that I showcased on other videos, where they had some craziness going on. But in this one, for example, this guy was using the vehicles, and that is something that is also a different style of a mission. So there's way more enemies, and it's a bigger threat, but they allow you to jump into these vehicles and do some crazy damage. And that's one of many different ways that they have as far as play styles. And I'm not defending what the game loop will be, the loop as far as like gameplay loop. How will that work when it comes to just general grind? Because I know myself, I'll be replaying the game about 3 times, one by myself, one with Cloudy, and then one co-op and just in general, to get the best gear and to have the best setup. But for Cloudy, and you can get into this topic here, Cloudy, sorry for the long rant there, but if you can talk to me about what you're looking for, because you're not going to probably spend 500 hours like I will on this game.
Yeah, so I think they're hitting certain notes that I'm loving right now, especially now that they revealed a little bit more. I think one of the biggest things that they hit for me, it was one, the variety in your weaponry, right? The stuff that you're able to unlock. They showcased a little bit more of that 2 days ago. And then on top of it too, the second thing that I liked a lot was the customization for your characters, and especially when it's a third person shooter the way this is, I think it's amazing when they're able to kind of give you something like that. So more to expect and more customization when it comes to your characters, right? But another thing that took me by surprise, and I think it took a lot of people by surprise, was the fact that they added Joker into the roster. So the Joker does become a playable character that you can unlock. I'm not sure how they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it as DLC, paid DLC, or it's something that you unlock throughout the story.
Cloudy's not watching my videos. See, this is what happens. And hold on, Cloudy. Listen, y'all come into my comment section, without watching my video, and then you talk crazy, talking about what the heck is the Joker doing in here? He's dead. And I'm like, bruh, I just spent 3 days replying to comments in my section. I love my community, but random people not understanding what is going on with the Joker and why he's there. And now Cloudy's not saying that, like, he's not upset that Joker's back. Actually, I think he's just more curious on how that all plays out. And I would like to cut you off just to explain that, and we're going to get into that, Cloudy. The second portion of this video is talking about some of the story stuff, and I do have spoiler-ish. They've revealed all this, not me. So I'm just simply reporting the news for the most part. So Elseworlds is a big part of the game. Elseworlds is DC's version of multiverses, which means there's other versions of Batman, other versions of Joker, other versions of different characters, villains or heroes of DC characters throughout the game. So, as we've seen in the trailer that I'm showcasing now, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the one and the only Joker making it into the Suicide Squad and as a playable character. this is very cool. And the news is on one of my videos is free seasonal content. There's gonna be a playable character every season, which Joker's the first one, and it's free every season. All the content is free outside of the battle pass, which only has cosmetics. So if you want to support the game and you love all the outfits, you can get the cosmetics. But all the content that you're seeing in the video I'm showcasing now, which is the Joker and more, is all free, just to be clear. And I wanted to stress that because I totally get it. You know, I'm not you're not alone, Cloudy, with like the questions about this stuff. But they did put the information out, and I think this is a skeptical video. I'm making it specifically for that because I got so many comments in the last 2-3 days of uploading this game that I've noticed nobody knows what's going on. And I can't blame Warner Brother or Rocksteady. They have the content out there. It's just nobody cares to watch or too busy. And then Cloudy, for example, is learning some of this right now as we speak, I guess. Am I correct?
Yeah, as far as it being free and a character coming out every season, because that was going to be my next question, was if Joker's out, then I wonder who else they're going to want to add to the roster, and how will they be able to, and how are they going to do that, right? You know, are they going to have Freeze in it? Are they going to have Killer Croc? Are they going to have like all these other villains?
Who would you want? Who would you want?
Suicide Squad. To be honest, I actually wouldn't mind having Freeze, because I think that just thinking about it from like a Suicide Squad perspective, like the way the game is designed, I think he would be really cool to throw in there. Killer Croc will be another one. Those two for me are the 1 and 2 that I would say they will fit the style pretty well. Even though like people would say, you know, like they told you, Shark, how he, you know, why he got a gun? It's like, you know, but guess what? Killer Croc, if they give him a gun, that would be really cool too. Because his style will be a little bit different. He'll be running mostly on fours, and being able to jump on people and pounce on people and do certain things. That can add a little bit more variety to the game.
Yeah, like a second version of Shark, but with different style.
Exactly. But Shark stands on his 2 feet. Killer Croc will be more like, you know, on his fours.
Real. Yeah.
And then you got then also like, you know, Catwoman, right? Catwoman's another one that's like, you know, is she gonna be one of those characters? Because she can go either way. They always portrayed her to be almost like a spy. Sometimes she's good, sometimes she's bad. But who knows? Maybe she'll join, knowing the fact that Justice League is evil. Maybe she'll end up saying, you know what, I'm gonna be a spy with the the Suicide Squad, right? And then kind of join forces with them, and I can see how they can play out her gameplay a little bit too, because she's a very favorable character in DC. So those are the big 3 for me, aside from Joker. And of course, Joker.
This dude made a list before he even knew that there was gonna be more.
But that was in my head when I saw that. So that was like one of the things, like, damn, I wonder if they're gonna add these people, and then those are the ones that came to mind quickly for me, and I'm like, that would be nice if they put those in.
Yeah, I think, and so just to kind of go back, circling into the Joker, right? He is from the Elseworld, meaning he's from the multiverse. He's a different version of the Joker. He's not the Arkham Knight. They didn't revive him or nothing. He's from a whole nother planet. And supposedly he's a little bit deranged. Something's different and really twisted about him. So we don't know what that is. And we'll see when the game comes out and how that affects some of the story. If people don't know, throughout the story, if I interact, for example, with Penguin, if I'm using Boomerang, they've been enemies, so they don't really like each other. But if I do it with Shark, it'll be different conversation, small little details that's not going to be like game changing, but it does have a little bit of a different interactions. And I'm sure somebody's going to make videos of each interaction for each character and the differences in them. But the point is, we're going to get back into some of that story stuff and some of the breakdowns, but I did want to stay on the gameplay a little bit. So there's all of that, Cloudy. So then, we want to get the best gear. Like I was saying, you want to get the infamous sets, which will basically be what I'm about to showcase, which is top tier gear that has specific bonuses, unlike other games. Unlike other gear. So for example, right here, you see this, and Bob's your uncle. infamous
Yeah.
gear,
Yeah.
and
He's
if
not
I
my
have three,
uncle.
if I have three pieces or two pieces, it basically the first one's shooting frozen enemies regenerates 2 shield per shot. So then, boom, I'm freezing enemies, then I'm shooting them, which gives me extra shield. So I'm basically gonna stay alive using this, and it has more element set up on it. So this is just adding to your playstyle, but it's also very personalized to each of these heroes or legends or whatever. So same thing with the infamous one that I showcased earlier, and I was discussing it right here.
Yeah.
This one right here is another about a famous person, and I believe this one is penguins. You know, so every single one has something different. Wait a minute, I'm on the wrong item. Here we go. And this is another one right here. Black Mask, Bullet Storm, the one that we were talking about earlier. These are all personalized to specific characters throughout DC. And the reason I'm bringing this back up is because there's a ton of story elements, and this is where that skepticism is also questioned. Like, can this be a good story game? And I think me and you, Claudia, got a taste of Batman and Flash, a piece of what the story can be. So if we took away the gameplay, we forgot about all that stuff, and we just said, hey, what is the experience for the story? I feel from what we felt already that it's already special. It's feeling like a superstar lineup of experiences, right?
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, Superman, Flash, Batman. Just saying the names, if you love DC, you're going to be able to experience that. I think it's going to be special in that way. So now here's the thing. Elseworlds, and I have a whole video that's coming out Friday. Elseworlds is crazy, the fact that they announced that. And so now what that means, Brainiac, just to explain it to everybody, Brainiac found a way to access these multiverses. He also found a way to use DNA and kind of fuse different villains and heroes together. So he has the whole thing about possessing these people as well. So you got all that going on in one storyline. Imagine the possibilities of how or where different heroes, multiple versions of them, fighting against each other or with each other or with you, the player, throughout the game, or maybe just the ending, something very special. My video breaks that down. I just wanted to tease it here just because it's a theory and I don't want to go to spoilers or any of that stuff. But yeah, and super special possibilities is what I think could be, in my opinion, with some of the story. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm not speaking on facts on that. But from what we experienced, I mean, you know, as somebody who Cloudy, you express your skepticism that they can make it great. What if it does have the Batman experiences throughout, right? What if it does have the Superman stuff or Flash as well? You know, would that be good enough for you for a story? If we separated the gameplay, we just said story-wise, would that be good enough for you?
I think story is gonna be good as far as what I played, and not only that, but even let's say we take away the superheroes all in general, we just kept Suicide Squad alone. I think that the chemistry between the four of them is hilarious, dude, and it had me laughing, bro, to the point I think I was in tears one time. And it's just very quirky. It got a lot of jokes. It's just a fun game, right? And
a good vibe.
Yeah, and not only that, but so it's like every time they make me laugh, or I see something crazy and just start laughing to myself. I'm like, what else are they gonna do to keep topping this? And you know, as the story goes on, you'll see like funny comments being made through battle, like funny stuff happening while watching the cutscenes. Just funny things, bro. And I you know, that I think makes it real special for me, because it's like we all need to laugh every now and then, you know. Sometimes a lot of these games, they go a little too dark, and even though this game does have some dark moments, but the fact that they give you a little bit of dark, they give you some humor, they give you I wonder what they're gonna do to give you that emotional side of, you know, maybe you'll end up crying or something, right? Because typically really good games that have really good story typically have those pieces to it to some degree. But I think they're I think they will give you the players something like that. So if I had to guess, like I said, I think it's gonna do well. And I say it like this, and I feel like a lot of people are going to have that. A lot of people are skeptic of this game. You get some people that are saying, I don't know how well this game is gonna do, and then you got some people that are just super hyped for it, like me and you. And even though I got my, I'm a little skeptic, but I'm still super hyped for it. I think we were super hyped about this game when it first got announced, and now that we got a lot of footage and we know more about it, and it's only literally a couple weeks away. I think it's gonna be great, man. And
unfortunately, everybody listening, Cloudy was supposed to be the advocate, and instead he's promoting this game like they sponsored him and they paid him to say all this right now. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm giving you my feedback, but yeah, that's literally how
ain't nothing wrong with that. That's an honest opinion, and I like I said, the skepticism. The reason I wanted to stress that is because I do got a lot of people kind of throwing that at me, and I also have a lot of people hyped about it. We're on the Discord going crazy, making a clan and all this nonsense. So, special stuff. And I'm just gonna rant out a couple things for you, Cloudy, since I don't think you watch my videos, and I guess this could be a full run through. Right? There's possibly 4 seasons for this first year. 2 episodes, kind of theming of the different villains. I think we saw Two-Face and Scarecrow. There's 4 DLC playable characters, 1 per season.
Yeah,
there's gonna be new boss.
The question: so the villains like the Scarecrow and Two-Face, those are for the first.
That's an episode. It's for. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by episodes. They didn't explain it, but from my understanding is we're getting gear from these people, and I believe there's like a themed areas. I've seen different areas, for example, the Joker area, this area, that area, different kinds of scenarios. Yeah. So I'm guessing it's a battle, and this is all free, by the way. The boss fights, new boss fights. There's like a new Superman one, a new Green Lantern one to start off the season, and that's just variants, a variant version. Different enemy types. New themed weapons, which means like different heroes and villain weapons. Yeah. New gear that's themed as well. New activities, new environments, and then of course your favorite, the Riddler. Yeah. The Riddler is back with.
And I'm assuming that's aside from the main campaign, main story, right? So I'm assuming this is like other.
This is extra content. Missions. Yeah, this is outside of the story. This is just every season they're gonna drop some stuff. This season they're adding on in a month. So in February the game releases, and we're gonna play the regular content that's in there. Then in March the first season starts, and that's the stuff that I just explained. Every season will pop up with more of that. That's how that works. And then you have a lot of little details that I'm not gonna go through at all. But once we reach level 30, there's a squad talent, squad skill. So this is a good one for Cloudy and me. I'm looking to max out my characters so that way I can support Cloudy when I go to his gameplay and his storyline. It boosts him as well. So the squad talents are separate from your character talents. Every character has their own skill trees, and then there's a squad one as well, which is really amazing. It's like end game version, which is top tier stuff for special things. Then you can combine different weapons and create villain synergies. That's like, combining 2 weapons creates something totally new, something totally very cool. So that's something that's special in there. Then they have daily rewards, daily content, and I'm gonna go and let me put some gameplay up while we talk about this. But yeah, so they have a lot of daily stuff. They have the clans, which you can do clan challenges, get clan rewards, the clan leaderboards. Then they have general leaderboards. So if you play solo, you can be the #1 player, scoring the highest points in every mission. Or if you do duels, like me and you will be doing, we can be the #1 duels team in the leaderboards. You can do trios or quads leaderboards as well. So there's all of that going on within the game to add extra layers, because every mission you're graded and you can beat your friends. And so if I pass you up, I can actually send a taunt. So when you open the game, it'll be me doing an animation trolling you because I passed you up on the leaderboards. So it's a lot of little silly, cool, competitive stuff. They did talk about a possible PvP, but I don't think it's going to be pure PvP. I think it's going to be mostly like a challenge, which team can score the most while on the same mission or something. Then they have this one for Cloudy, which is the social squad. Basically, you're adding a friend or a famous person or just whoever's on top of the leaderboards, anybody in the game. You can take your build and share it. So if you ever wanted AI, a version of me, when you play, you can select it and say, oh yeah, I want his boomerang character to help me while I'm playing because he's not online. And you can take mine, and then you can take somebody famous, whoever's your favorite YouTuber, and use their builds that they have in the game for yourself.
You're talking about like almost like an avatar?
Yeah, so instead of you running around with the default AIs, you can just select some from this pool of I don't know how that works as far as do you got to upload them or something, but I'm assuming something like that. Then there's cool little features like the psyched up. So let's just say you are playing Deadshot and he hates the penguin. So if you're fighting against the penguin or his people, or you're on a mission with that, it'll give you psyched up, which means that you get a buff. You get buffs. So it's really, really special. There's traversal courses, which is like, since we all got crazy abilities, the traversal courses are kind of like races. Who can get the highest score, fastest time, all of that stuff. In the end game, you're not playing in the regular map. You actually teleport to the else worlds that I was talking about, another world, and do a mission in a whole nother world, which is kind of looking like, transformed areas within the game and different locations and things like that. That's kind of what happens. There's incursion missions where you're going to shut down Brainiac's domain. There's killing time missions, which is basically horde mode for a looter shooter that they never make those, and that's the first time basically one that has that. They have the transmog, like you were saying, outfits. It doesn't affect your gear. You put on whatever gear you want, and then you put on a dope outfit on top of it. There's the mastery difficulty, which is basically a way for once we max out our level, we go to this end game called mastery tiers, and it's endless amounts of tiers. And what it does is it gives you modifiers, crazy things. For example, enemies explode to do damage to you, or they'll do element damage or something really challenging on top of the mission that they add into it. So those are just some of the features that this game is bringing out for this looter shooter. And I play a lot of looter shooters. Cloudy knows we played the Division together. We played a bunch of stuff, and this is a dream. I didn't know this much information, and now I'm so hyped, and I wanted to share it and kind of give the skepticism a chance, even though Cloudy wasn't that skeptical in this video. I appreciate him coming out and listening to the actual information. It's brand new, just coming out. So what are your final thoughts on some of that stuff you just heard, Cloud?
Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. We'll find out in a couple weeks. So it's kind of where I'm at with it. Like I said, so far so good. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Of course, some of the skepticism that I did have with gameplay, as far as like missions that they throw you on, it's just a matter of just playing it and seeing where we're at with it, and then seeing what kind of variety they can, give. And then on top of it too, the fact that they have certain themed worlds, like you mentioned, and every season they're gonna have these extra missions they're gonna add to give you more variety for gameplay even after the game is done. Not only that, but they are throwing out, I believe, multiplayer in it too. I think it's gonna be great, and it's gonna be something that's gonna be able to keep bringing players back, right? And the fact that they even have that already thought about, I think is good. So
yes sir, I will be making build guides, breaking stuff down as far as like what's the best items, how to get them. I'm gonna be doing a lot of stuff. I feel like I didn't expect it to be this deep, and it is, so I'm hyped about it because that's my style of game. And we'll be jumping in. We'll be live stream. I'll be live streaming. I think Cloudy will have some content for you guys. He's been prepping up the Let's Play swagger. So you can go check that out on the descriptions to see what we got going on. We appreciate you guys. If you stood there this long, go ahead and leave in the comment which is going to be your main character. Let me know. Let you know I'm playing them all. I'm gonna max them all out right away. So yeah, see you there, guys. Peace.